If you touch that watch again, I'll break every bone in your worthless hands." The words slice through the diner's morning chatter like a knife through warm butter. Sarah freezes, her borrowed hairpin suspended inches from the expensive timepiece lying on the counter. Her hand trembles, not from fear, though there's plenty of that, but from the sheer exhaustion of working a double shift while her landlord's eviction notice burns a hole in her apron pocket. "I was just trying to help," she says quietly, keeping her green eyes down, focused on the intricate Swiss mechanism visible through the crystal face. The watch is beautiful, probably worth more than she makes in 6 months, maybe a year. The dark-haired man who slammed it on her counter 10 minutes ago had been furiously jabbing at the crown, his jaw clenched so tight she could see the muscle jumping beneath his stubbled cheek. "Did I ask for your help?" His voice is silk over steel. Dangerous. The kind of voice that makes smart people walk the other direction. Sarah should walk away. She should absolutely walk away. But the eviction notice crinkles when she shifts her weight, reminding her that she needs this job, needs the tips from the morning rush that's starting to filter through the door. If she loses this customer, this clearly wealthy, clearly important customer, her boss, Jerry, will have her head. Jerry's already been looking for an excuse since his nephew needs a job. "Sir, I've fixed dozens of watches. My father was a—" "Do I look like I care about your father?" The man's pale blue eyes finally lift to meet hers, and Sarah's breath catches. Not from intimidation, though he's clearly aiming for that, but because beneath the razor-sharp anger, beneath the expensive black suit and the tattoos creeping up his neck like dark ivy, there's something desperate in his expression, something almost broken. The watch means something to him. "Please," Sarah says, and she watches his eyes narrow at the word. People probably don't say please to him very often. "Just let me look. 30 seconds. If I can't fix it, I'll leave it alone. I promise." The diner has gone quiet. Old Pete in his corner booth has stopped pretending to read his newspaper. Mary Ann, the other waitress, is frozen by the coffee machine, pot suspended in mid-air. Everyone's watching. Everyone's waiting to see if this stranger, this obviously dangerous stranger with his black Mercedes parked out front like a predator at rest, will explode. He leans back against the cracked vinyl of the counter stool, spreading his hands in a gesture that might be permission, or might be mockery. His fingers are tattooed too, she notices. Small symbols she can't quite make out. 30 seconds, starting now. Sarah's already moving. She's been watching the watch since he put it down, already diagnosed the problem. The crown is jammed, probably caught on something inside, and there's a tiny piece of debris visible through the crystal. She unfolds her hairpin with practiced ease, the same bobby pin that's been holding her honey blonde ponytail in place since 5 a.m., and gently, so gently, works it into the microscopic gap between the watch case and the crown. 20 seconds, he says, but there's something different in his voice now. Interest, maybe, or curiosity. The debris shifts. Sarah applies the barest pressure, angling the hairpin with the precision her father taught her during those long afternoons in his jewelry shop before the cancer took him, before everything fell apart. The crown releases with a click so soft only she and the stranger hear it. "There," she breathes, setting down the hairpin and carefully handing him the watch. "The crown was catching on a piece of lint from your pocket. It's working now." He takes the watch, his fingers brushing hers for just a moment. His hands are warm, she notices irrelevantly. He winds the crown once, twice. The second hand begins its sweep around the mother-of-pearl face. Something flickers across his features, relief so profound it almost looks like pain. "Who taught you that?" "My father. He was a watchmaker. A real one, not like the mall kiosks. He said watches were like hearts. They just needed someone to care enough to understand what was wrong." The stranger stares at her for a long moment, his pale eyes cataloging her features with an intensity that makes her want to look away. She doesn't. Some instinct tells her that looking away would be wrong, would be weakness, and despite the trembling in her hands, despite the eviction notice and the exhaustion and the fear, Sarah isn't weak. "What's your name?" "Sarah Mitchell." And you work here? It's not a question, but she nods anyway. He glances around the diner, at the cracked vinyl booths, the flickering fluorescent lights, the faded linoleum that no amount of mopping will ever really clean. Something like distaste crosses his face, but also something else. Calculation. How much do you make in a day, Sarah Mitchell? The question catches her off guard. That's really not your... Humor me. Maybe $80, $90. On a good day with tips. He pulls out his wallet, and Sarah's stomach drops. She knows what's coming. Rich guys do this sometimes, throw money at problems, at people, like they're buying silence or subservience or just a good story to tell their friends. But when he puts the bills on the counter, her mind goes blank. $500. 10. 20. He stops at 50 $100 bills, an obscene stack of cash sitting next to her coffee pot, and the maple syrup dispenser shaped like a cartoon bear. That's what you'd make in a month, give or take. It's yours, for the watch, and for answering my question honestly. He pauses, strapping the watch onto his wrist with careful precision. Do you like working here, Sarah? She doesn't know what to say. The truthful answer is no, she hates it. Hates Jerry's wandering hands, and the drunk truckers and the way her feet scream after every shift. But it's a job. It's money. It's survival. It's fine. Liar. He stands, and she realizes for the first time how tall he is. Over 6 feet, broad-shouldered, carrying himself with the kind of easy confidence that comes from never having to worry about consequences. But I appreciate the diplomacy. He's heading for the door when Mary Ann finds her voice. You didn't order anything. The stranger, and Sarah realizes she never got his name, pauses with his hand on the door. He looks back over his shoulder, and the small smile on his face is more dangerous than his earlier anger. Tell your boss that Luca Rossi came by. Tell him Luca Rossi's favorite waitress works here now. Tell him anyone who has a problem with her has a problem with me. Then he's gone, the door chiming cheerfully behind him, leaving Sarah standing frozen with $5,000 on the counter and a name echoing in her head. Luca Rossi. She knows that name. Everyone in Chicago knows that name. Mary Ann rushes over, her eyes huge. Oh my God, Sarah. Do you know who that was? That was Luca Rossi. That was the Luca Rossi. I gathered that, Sarah says faintly. The money is still there, crisp and real. Not a hallucination, then. He runs half the city. Construction, unions, shipping. All of it. People say his family's been connected since the Prohibition days. They say he's absolutely ruthless. Last year, some guy tried to move in on his territory and they found him in the river. Mary Ann is nearly vibrating with excitement and terror in equal measure. And you just fixed his watch with a hairpin? I guess I did. Old Pete has approached the counter, his lined face serious. Girl, you better be careful. Men like that, they're not like us. They don't think like us. Everything's a transaction, everything's power. You helped him, so now he thinks he owes you. Or worse, he thinks he owns you. The words should scare her. They would scare any sensible person. But Sarah looks down at the $5,000 and thinks about her eviction notice, about the medical bills from her mother's last hospital stay, about all the nights she's lain awake wondering how she's going to survive another month, another week, another day. I'll be careful, she promises, but even to her own ears it sounds hollow. Jerry emerges from the back, his stained apron stretched over his beer gut. What's all the commotion? Why's everyone standing around? We got customers. Luca Rossi was here, Mary Ann blurts before Sarah can stop her. He told Sarah that she's his favorite waitress. He said anyone who has a problem with her has a problem with him. The color drains from Jerry's face. He what? I just fixed his watch, Sarah says quietly, palming the money and shoving it into her pocket before Jerry gets ideas. It was nothing. Nothing? Nothing? Jerry's going through some kind of internal crisis. She can see it. He's scared of Rossi. Everyone's scared of Rossi. But he's also practically salivating at the implications. He could come back. He could bring associates. We need to, Mary Ann. Make sure table 6 is always available. That's Mr. Rossi's table now, and you, he jabs a finger at Sarah, you make sure you're here every day, every single day, you hear me? I'm already here every day, Jerry. Well, now you're here because Luca Rossi says so. Jesus. He runs a hand through his thinning hair. My diner. Luca Rossi came to my diner. The morning rush starts in earnest, and Sarah throws herself into the familiar rhythm of orders, and coffee refills, and keeping her smile painted on even when her feet are screaming. But her mind keeps drifting back to pale blue eyes and tattooed hands, and the way he'd looked at his watch like it held the secrets of the universe. She doesn't expect to see him again. Rich men, dangerous men, don't hang around diners in working-class neighborhoods. They make their dramatic gestures and disappear back into their own worlds of luxury and violence. But the next morning, at exactly 8:15, the black Mercedes pulls up outside. Sarah's in the middle of pouring coffee for a regular when she sees him through the window. Her hand jerks, splashing hot coffee onto the counter. Careful there, honey, Mrs. Chen says kindly, dabbing at the spill with a napkin. Sorry, I'm just... The door chimes. Luca Rossi walks in like he owns the place, which, given his reputation, he might. He's wearing another expensive suit, charcoal gray this time, and his dark hair is slicked back in a way that should look pretentious, but somehow just makes him more attractive. The watch glints on his wrist, catching the morning light. He doesn't sit at table 6. He walks directly to the counter, to Sarah's section, and takes the same stool as yesterday. The diner doesn't go quiet this time. Everyone's trying very hard to pretend they're not watching. But they're watching. Oh, they're watching. Good morning, Sarah Mitchell. Good morning, Mr. Rossi. Just Luca. His pale eyes find hers, holding her gaze with that same unsettling intensity. Coffee, please. Black, she pours with shaking hands, trying not to spill. Anything else? What do you recommend? The pancakes are good. Jerry makes them himself. Then pancakes. He hasn't opened a menu, hasn't looked at anything except her. How's your mother? The question hits her like a physical blow. How do you mentioned medical bills to the landlord. I assumed someone was sick. Parent, sibling, or child. No ring on your finger and you're too young to have adult children. So parent or sibling seemed most likely. The way you said it, her hospital stay, gave me the gender. He says all this calmly, matter-of-factly, like it's perfectly normal to have investigated her overnight. How is she? Sarah should be angry, should be outraged at this invasion of privacy. Instead, she just feels tired. She's alive. That's about all I can say. What's wrong with her? Does it matter? It might. She doesn't know why she answers. Maybe because he already knows so much. Or maybe because there's something in his face, not pity, never pity, but something almost like understanding. Heart condition. She needs surgery, but insurance won't cover it. Says it's pre-existing, so we're managing. Managing. He repeats the word like it offends him. I'll have your pancakes now. Sarah retreats to the kitchen, her mind spinning. When she returns with his food, there are now 2 men flanking the diner door. They're trying to be subtle, hands folded, faces neutral, but she can see the bulges under their jackets, can read the tension in their shoulders. Guards. Luca Rossi brought guards to her diner. Is that really necessary? She asks quietly, setting down the plate. They're for your protection. My protection? You're under my attention now. That makes you a target. Or at the very least, leverage. He cuts into the pancakes with precise movements. Don't worry, they won't bother anyone. They're just insurance. I didn't ask for insurance. No, you asked to fix a watch, and I said yes. Actions have consequences, Sarah Mitchell. He takes a bite, chews thoughtfully. These are good. You were right. Great. So I'm a target because I fixed your watch with a hairpin? You're a target because you touched something of mine without permission, and I didn't kill you for it. He says it so casually, like he's discussing the weather. That makes you interesting. Interesting things attract attention. Attention needs management. Sarah's gripping the coffee pot so hard her knuckles are white. I don't want to be interesting to you. Too late. He takes another bite. But if it helps, I don't want to be interesting to you either. Unfortunately, we don't always get what we want. What's that supposed to mean? He looks up at her, and there's something raw in his expression for just a moment. Something young and almost vulnerable beneath all that dangerous polish. It means I've been wearing my father's watch for 3 years. It means yesterday was the first time it stopped since he died, and I thought I was going to put my fist through a wall. It means you fixed it in 30 seconds with a hairpin and a kind smile, and now I can't stop thinking about that. The confession hangs between them, too honest, too real. Sarah doesn't know what to say. Luca seems to realize he's said too much. The walls come back up, the expression smooths out. I'll be here every morning at 8:15. I expect you to be my waitress. I tip well. I have to work anyway. Then we're in agreement. He goes back to his pancakes like nothing happened. Sarah spends the rest of his breakfast on autopilot, refilling coffee, taking orders, trying not to notice how every customer gives Luca a wide berth. When he finally stands to leave, he puts down $200 bills. That's too much, she starts, but he's already walking away. At the door, he pauses, turns back. Cancel my meetings, he says to one of his guards. I'm staying here. The guard looks confused. Sir, you have the union negotiation at 10. Cancel. It. Yes, sir. Luca returns to his stool, settles back down, and looks at Sarah expectantly. More coffee, please. She pours, mind reeling. You're canceling meetings to sit in a diner? I'm canceling meetings to sit in this diner with this waitress, drinking this coffee. The distinction matters. Why? Haven't figured that out yet. I'll let you know when I do. And he stays. For the entire morning rush, through the lunch prep until almost noon, Luca Rossi sits at her counter drinking coffee and watching her work. He doesn't say much. Doesn't bother her. Just watches. Like she's a puzzle he's trying to solve, or a painting he's trying to understand. It should be creepy, should be terrifying. But somehow it's neither. Somehow, with Luca Rossi's pale blue eyes tracking her movements as she pours coffee and takes orders and wipes down counters, Sarah feels safer than she has in years. When he finally leaves, she finds $1,000 under his coffee cup and a business card with a phone number written on the back in sharp, masculine handwriting. For emergencies, the note says. Use it. Marianne appears at her elbow. Girl, you are in so much trouble. I know. He's obsessed with you. I know. What are you going to do? Sarah looks at the business card, at the number that represents power and danger, and everything her sensible brain tells her to avoid. I have no idea. But the next morning at 8:14, she's already pouring his coffee, waiting. The pattern continues. Every day, 8:15 exactly, the black Mercedes appears. Every day, Luca comes in, sits at her counter, orders pancakes or waffles, or sometimes just coffee. Every day, he stays for hours, making phone calls in a low voice, working on his laptop, occasionally reading the newspaper like a normal person. Except normal people don't have armed guards and don't make Jerry nearly faint with anxiety every time they walk through the door. On the 4th day, Sarah works up the courage to ask, Don't you have actual work to do? I'm doing it. He doesn't look up from his laptop. From my diner counter? It's called remote work, very modern. I'm surprised you haven't heard of it. You're being sarcastic. I'm being accurate. He closes the laptop, giving her his full attention. My office is 40 minutes away in traffic. Here, I'm 15 minutes from the docks, 20 from the Union Hall, 10 from 3 different construction sites. It's actually more efficient. That's a convenient excuse. It's also true. A pause. Would you prefer I didn't come? The question catches her off guard. Would she? A week ago, before Luca Rossi walked into her life with his father's watch and his dangerous eyes, she would have said yes without hesitation. But now she looks for the Mercedes at 8:14. Now she makes sure his coffee is exactly the way he likes it. Black, no sugar, hot but not scalding. Now the mornings feel empty until he walks through that door. I didn't say that, she says quietly. Something flickers in his expression. Satisfaction, maybe. Or something deeper. Good. On the 8th day, a man comes into the diner at 7:45. Sarah's seen him before, lurking around the neighborhood, always watching. He's younger than Luca, maybe mid-20s, with slicked back hair and a cheap suit that's trying hard to look expensive. He sits at the counter, 3 stools down from Luca's usual spot. "Coffee," he says when Sarah approaches, not bothering with please or even eye contact. She pours, her instincts screaming. Something's wrong. This man is wrong. "You're the girl, right? The one Luca Rossi's been sniffing around?" Her hand tightens on the coffee pot. "I'm a waitress. I serve coffee." "Yeah, I bet you serve all kinds of things." His smile is ugly. "See, thing is, Rossi's distracted. Been disappearing every morning, canceling meetings. His crew's getting nervous. Enemies are noticing. And all because of you. I didn't ask for any of this. Doesn't matter what you asked for. Matters what you are." He leans forward, and Sarah can smell cigarette smoke and something chemical on his breath. "You're a weakness. And in our world, weaknesses get cut out." The door chimes, 8:15 exactly. The man at the counter goes pale. Luca walks in, takes in the scene in an instant. The man at the counter, Sarah's frightened face, the tension thick enough to choke on. His expression doesn't change. That's what's terrifying. No anger, no surprise, just cold, calculating assessment. "Tommy Greco," Luca says pleasantly, as if greeting an old friend. "What brings you to this neighborhood?" Tommy stands, trying to recover his bravado. "Just having coffee, Luca. No law against that." "No law at all." Luca crosses the distance between them in 3 smooth steps. He's not moving fast, not aggressive, but Tommy backs up anyway. "Though I'm curious, did you happen to speak to my waitress?" "Just making conversation." That's funny, because she looks scared, and the only thing that scares Sarah is feeling threatened. Luca's voice is still pleasant, conversational. That's what makes it horrifying. "Did you threaten her, Tommy?" No, let me explain something." Luca picks up Tommy's coffee cup, examines it like it's fascinating. "This diner is mine now. Not officially, not on paper, but mine. This waitress, definitely mine. And when someone threatens what's mine, I take it personally. Look, Luca, I didn't mean..." The coffee cup shatters against the counter, ceramic exploding, hot coffee spraying. Sarah jumps back. Tommy freezes. "Get out," Luca says quietly. "Tell whoever sent you that the message is received and declined. Tell them if anyone comes near Sarah Mitchell again, I'll burn their territory to the ground and salt the earth after. Tell them she's under my protection, and my protection is absolute. Are we clear? Crystal." Tommy's backing toward the door, hands raised. "Crystal clear, Luca." "Oh, and Tommy, if I see you within 5 blocks of this diner again, I'll assume you're not good at following directions. I don't like people who can't follow directions." Tommy practically runs out the door. The guards follow him, silent as shadows. The diner is dead silent. Even Jerry's stopped pretending to cook. Luca turns to Sarah, and his face softens. Just slightly. Just enough. "Are you all right?" Yes, I think so." "What did he say to you?" She tells him, watching his expression grow colder and colder until it's like looking at marble. Beautiful, deadly marble. "I'm sorry," he says when she's finished. "I should have anticipated this. I got sloppy." "Sloppy how? You can't control what other people do." "I absolutely can. That's my job." He picks up a piece of broken ceramic, turns it over in his tattooed fingers. Controlling what people do, what they think, what they fear, that's power, Sarah. And I've had it for so long, I forgot what it's like to have something worth threatening. You're saying I'm a weakness. No, I'm saying you're valuable, which in my world amounts to the same thing. He sets down the ceramic shard carefully. I can make this go away. I can have you moved, set up somewhere safe with enough money that you'll never have to work again. You and your mother both. I can disappear you completely. The offer hangs in the air, tempting and terrible. Is that what you want? Sarah asks. What I want doesn't matter. Yes, it does. You asked me earlier if I wanted you to stop coming. Now I'm asking you, do you want me to disappear? He looks at her for a long moment, and she sees the war happening behind his eyes. Logic versus instinct. Safety versus desire. No, he finally says. I don't want that at all. Then I'm staying. Sarah. I'm staying, she repeats more firmly. This is my life, my job, my choice. You don't get to make it for me just because you've decided I'm valuable. You don't understand what you're risking. Then explain it to me. He laughs, sharp and bitter. You want me to explain the Chicago underworld to you over pancakes? Fine. Sit. Sarah glances at Jerry, who makes frantic, yes, do what he says gestures. She sits on the stool next to Luca's usual spot. Luca signals to one of his returning guards. No one comes in for the next 10 minutes. I don't care if the place is on fire. The guard nods. The diner clears out in under a minute. The Rossi family has controlled the labor unions, shipping, and construction in Chicago for 4 generations. Luca begins, his voice low and measured. We're not the biggest family, not the flashiest, but we're stable. That stability comes from rules. No civilian casualties, no drugs in schools. Honor your deals. Most importantly, show no weakness. And I'm a weakness. You're something worse. You're a distraction. He turns to face her fully. For 3 years since my father died, I've been perfect. Cold, efficient. I do what needs doing without hesitation or regret. I'm respected and feared in equal measure, which is exactly the balance required to keep power. Then you fixed a watch with a hairpin and smiled at me like I was human, and I haven't been able to think straight since. Sarah's heart is pounding. That's not my fault. I know, it's mine. I should have walked away, should have sent you money and forgotten about it, but I didn't. His pale eyes are intense, burning. I can't. Every morning I tell myself I'm not coming back, and every morning at 8:15 I'm walking through that door anyway. Why? Because when I'm here, watching you pour coffee and joke with regulars and put up with Jerry's nonsense, I remember what it's like to be human. Because you look at me like I'm a person instead of a weapon. Because my father's watch keeps perfect time on my wrist, and every time I check it, I think of you. He runs a hand through his dark hair, disrupting the perfect styling. You make me want things I shouldn't want. A normal life. A normal morning. A woman who fixes watches and smiles like sunshine. I'm not sunshine, Sarah says. I'm broke and tired and scared most of the time. You're brave. That's better than sunshine. This is insane. You know that, right? This whole thing, you, me, the guards, Tommy Greco, it's completely insane. Completely, he agrees. But I'm not stopping. I can't stop. Unless you tell me to. If you want me gone, say the word right now, and I'll walk out that door and you'll never see me again. I'll leave protection on you, make sure everyone knows you're off limits, set you up financially. But I'll stay away. Sarah looks at him. Really looks at him. Beneath the expensive suit and the tattoos and the dangerous reputation, she sees a man who's been alone for too long, who wears his dead father's watch like armor, who's built his entire life around control and power, because it's the only way he knows how to survive. She sees herself, in a way. Different circumstances, different choices, but the same core loneliness. I don't want you gone, she says quietly. The relief that crosses his face is almost painful to witness. But I need to understand what that means. Really understand. Not you protecting me from the truth. The actual truth. The truth is that anyone associated with me becomes a target. The truth is that I've killed people, ordered worse things done, and I'll do it again without hesitation if it protects what's mine. The truth is that my world is violent and ugly, and once you're part of it, there's no going back to normal. And what am I to you? Really? I don't know yet. He reaches out slowly, giving her time to pull away. His tattooed fingers brush her cheek with surprising gentleness. But I want to find out, if you'll let me. Sarah should say no, should run, should do anything except lean into his touch like a flower turning toward light. But she's so tired of being practical, so tired of just surviving. Okay, she whispers. Okay? Let's find out. The smile that crosses Luca's face transforms him entirely. For just a moment, he's not a dangerous mafia boss. He's just a man, happy and young and almost innocent. Then the mask comes back, but softer now. Easier. I should warn you, he says, pulling back his hand. I'm not good at normal. I'm possessive and controlling, and I'll probably drive you crazy. I once fixed 30 watches in a single day with nothing but bobby pins and determination. I think I can handle you. We'll see. He stands, straightening his suit. Tonight, I'm taking you to dinner. I work until 10. Then I'll pick you up at 10:15. Wear something comfortable. And Sarah? Yes? Thank you for staying. He leaves before she can respond, his guards falling into formation behind him. The Mercedes pulls away, and slowly, cautiously, the regular customers start filtering back in. Jerry emerges from the kitchen, looking like he's aged 10 years. You're going to give me a heart attack, you know that? Sorry, Jerry. Don't be sorry. Just be careful. Men like that, they're not like us. I know. But maybe that's exactly the point. The rest of the day passes in a blur. Sarah's mind keeps drifting to pale blue eyes and tattooed hands, and the feel of gentle fingers on her cheek. She burns a burger, spills coffee twice, and gives the wrong change so many times Marianne finally just takes over the register. At 10:12, she's in the diner bathroom trying to fix her hair and makeup with shaking hands. The waitress uniform has to stay. She didn't bring anything else, but she at least pulls her honey blonde hair down from its usual ponytail, letting it fall in waves around her shoulders. At 10:15 exactly, the Mercedes pulls up. Luca's waiting outside, leaning against the car like something out of a movie. He's changed too, traded the suit for dark jeans and a black button-down that shows off his tattooed forearms. He looks younger like this, more approachable. Almost normal if you ignore the guards in the second car behind him. You're punctual, Sarah says. My father was a fanatic about time. It rubbed off. He opens the car door for her. You look beautiful. I'm wearing a waitress uniform and sneakers. I stand by my statement. The interior of the Mercedes is all leather and wood grain, so far removed from her usual world it might as well be a spaceship. She sinks into the passenger seat, trying not to feel intimidated. Where are we going? She asks as Luca slides behind the wheel. You'll see. They drive through Chicago as the city lights blur past, leaving the working-class neighborhood behind for glossier areas. But then they turn away from the downtown core, heading instead toward the waterfront. Luca pulls up at a small Italian restaurant tucked between warehouses. It doesn't look like much from the outside, just a red door and a hand-painted sign. But when they walk in, the smell of garlic and fresh bread nearly makes Sarah's knees weak. Luca! An old woman emerges from the kitchen, wiping her hands on her apron. She's tiny, maybe 5 feet tall, with silver hair and eyes that miss nothing. Finally you bring a girl! I was starting to think you'd become a monk. Nonna Maria, this is Sarah. Sarah, my grandmother and owner of the best restaurant in Chicago. In the world, Nonna Maria corrects. She's studying Sarah with unnerving intensity. You're the watch girl. He told me about you. He did? Couldn't stop talking about you. She fixed it with a hairpin, Nonna. A hairpin. Like it was nothing. On and on. She waves them toward a corner booth. Sit, sit. I'll bring food. We should probably order, Sarah starts, but Nonna Maria is already gone. Luca grins. She doesn't believe in menus. You get what she thinks you need. They sit, and Sarah realizes the restaurant is nearly empty. Just one other couple in the far corner, and they're so absorbed in each other they might as well be alone. Is this place always so quiet? I may have reserved the whole restaurant for tonight. You what? I wanted privacy. I wanted you to feel comfortable. I wanted... He stops, looking almost embarrassed. I wanted our first real date to be perfect. This is a date? What else would it be? I don't know. A business meeting? A kidnapping? With you, it could go either way. He laughs, genuine and warm. Fair point. But for the record, this is a date, which means we follow date rules. No business talk, no threats. Just two people getting to know each other. Do you even know how to do that? Not really. I'm hoping you'll teach me. Nonna Maria returns with wine and a basket of bread that's still steaming. Then comes pasta, 3 different kinds that Sarah didn't order and definitely can't afford. Then chicken and vegetables, and a salad that tastes like summer. Your grandmother is either trying to feed an army or fatten me up, Sarah says around a mouthful of the best pasta she's ever tasted. She likes you. This is how she shows it. How can she like me? She just met me. You fixed my father's watch. That makes you family in her eyes. Luca's expression grows serious. My father was her only son. When he died, it broke something in her. She aged 10 years overnight. But the watch kept working, kept time, became this symbol that part of him was still here. When it stopped yesterday, she cried. First time I've seen her cry since the funeral. I didn't know. How could you? He reaches across the table, takes her hand in his. His palm is warm, calloused, but you fixed it anyway. Not for money or favor. Just because you could. Because you're good, Sarah Mitchell. Genuinely, innately good. And I've spent so long in a world where good is a weakness that I'd forgotten it was possible. Sarah's throat tightens. I'm not that good. I'm selfish and scared, and half the time I'm just trying to survive. That's not selfish. That's human. His thumb traces circles on the back of her hand. Tell me about your father. The watchmaker. So she does. She tells him about growing up in the tiny shop, about learning to see the microscopic mechanisms that made watches tick, about her father's patient hands and endless knowledge, about the cancer that came fast and brutal, about selling the shop to pay for treatments that didn't work, about her mother's heart breaking along with her own. He sounds like a good man, Luca says quietly. He was. Is that what your father was like? No, Luca's smile is wry. My father was complicated, brilliant and ruthless and absolutely devoted to family, but not exactly what you'd call good. He taught me how to read people, how to negotiate, how to know when words would work and when violence was necessary. He taught me that loyalty was everything, and weakness was death. That's a lot of pressure for a kid. It's what I knew, what I was born into. He pauses. He gave me this watch on my 18th birthday. Said it was the only thing that mattered, keeping track of time, not wasting it, making every second count. Then 3 years ago, he had a heart attack in his office, dead before he hit the floor, and I've been wearing this watch every day since, trying to make every second count like he said, trying to be the man he raised me to be. Is that who you want to be? The question seems to surprise him. No one's ever asked me that before. I'm asking now. He's quiet for a long moment, his pale eyes distant. I don't know. This life, this world, it's all I've ever known. I'm good at it. I've built the Rossi family into something stronger than my father left it. But sometimes I wonder what it would be like to be someone else. Someone who doesn't have blood on his hands. Someone who could take a woman like you to dinner without worrying about who might use her against him. Someone normal. Someone free. He lifts her hand to his lips, kisses her knuckles gently. But I'm not. I never will be. So the question is, can you accept that? Sarah thinks about Tommy Greco's threats, about guards and danger, and a world of violence she can barely comprehend, about all the sensible reasons she should walk away right now. Then she thinks about Luca's smile when he talks about his father's watch, about the gentleness in his dangerous hands, about the way he looks at her like she's precious and rare and worth protecting. I don't know yet, she says honestly, but I want to try. The relief in his expression makes her heart ache. They talk for hours. Nonna Maria brings dessert, tiramisu that tastes like clouds and poetry, and more wine, and espresso so strong it could wake the dead. They talk about everything and nothing. Favorite movies and childhood memories and dreams that feel too fragile to say out loud. It's after midnight when they finally leave, Sarah's cheeks flushed from wine and laughter, Luca's expression softer than she's ever seen it. He drives her home, to her tiny apartment in a building that's seen better decades, and walks her to the door despite her protests. "This is me," she says, suddenly aware of how shabby everything looks through his eyes. Peeling paint and flickering hallway lights, and the faint smell of mildew that no amount of cleaning can quite eliminate. "Thank you," Luca says, "for tonight, for giving me a chance. Thank you for dinner, and for not actually being a kidnapping." He grins. "The night's not over yet. That's a terrible joke. I've been told I have a terrible sense of humor." He steps closer, and Sarah's breath catches. "Sarah, I need to say something, and I need you to listen." "Okay. This thing between us, it's going to get complicated. People will notice. Enemies will try to use you to get to me. Allies will wonder if I'm going soft. Your life is about to change in ways you can't imagine. I know. But I'm going to protect you. Whatever it takes, however necessary. You're mine now, not in the possessive sense, or not only in that sense. Mine to guard. Mine to keep safe. Mine to..." He stops, seeming to struggle with words. "I don't fall easily. I don't trust easily. But you walked into my life with a hairpin and a kind smile, and now I can't imagine walking back out. Luca." He kisses her. Soft and gentle, and nothing like she'd expected from a man with his reputation. His hands cup her face with infinite care, like she's made of spun glass. Like she's precious. Sarah melts into him, her hands finding their way to his chest, feeling his heart racing beneath her palms. The kiss deepens, and there's heat now. Urgency, but still that underlying gentleness that makes her want to cry. When they finally break apart, both breathless, Luca rests his forehead against hers. "I should go," he murmurs, "before I do something we're not ready for. Probably wise. But I'll see you tomorrow, 8:15. I'll have your coffee ready." He kisses her once more, quick and sweet, then forces himself to step back. "Good night, Sarah Mitchell." "Good night, Luca Rossi." She watches him walk away, watches the Mercedes pull out into the night with its ghost car of guards following. Then she leans back against her door and tries to remember how to breathe. Her phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. "Lock your door. Guard outside is Marco. He won't bother you, but he'll keep you safe. Sleep well. L." Sarah looks through her peephole. Sure enough, there's a large man in a dark suit positioning himself by the stairs. She should be annoyed. Should be outraged at this invasion of her privacy. Instead, she feels safe. That night, she sleeps better than she has in years. The next morning, Luca's already at the counter when she arrives at 6 a.m. for her shift. He's got his laptop out, deep in conversation on his phone, but his face brightens when he sees her. He holds up a finger, 1 minute, and finishes his call. "You're early," Sarah says. "Couldn't sleep, kept thinking about you." He's unapologetic about it. "Also, we have a problem." Her stomach drops. "What kind of problem?" "Your landlord sold your building. New owners from the Castellano family, not our allies. He's going to use the building to pressure me, which means you're getting evicted." "What? He can't do that." "He can and he will, which is why you're moving." "Excuse me?" Luca pulls out a folder, slides it across the counter. Inside are keys and documents. "Apartment in Lincoln Park. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Safe building, secure entry, guards on rotation. You and your mother will move in this weekend." "I can't afford..." "You're not paying. I am." "Luca, no. I can't accept this." "Yes, you can." His expression is implacable. "Your safety isn't negotiable, Sarah. Neither is your mother's. This isn't about control or ownership. It's about keeping you alive. By making me dependent on you, by removing one more thing you have to worry about." He softens slightly. "I know you're independent. I know you're proud, but pride won't stop a bullet, and it won't keep your mother safe. Let me do this. Please. Sarah looks at the keys, at the address on the documents. Lincoln Park. Safe neighborhood. Real security. A place where her mother could recover without worrying about the heat getting shut off or the water turning brown. This is too much. It's not enough. It will never be enough for what you've given me. He takes her hand. You gave me back my father's watch. You gave me these mornings. You gave me hope that there's more to life than power and violence. Let me give you safety in return. What happens if this doesn't work out? Then the apartment is still yours. I'll put it in your name. No strings, no conditions. Whatever happens between us, you and your mother will be safe. You have my word. Sarah searches his face, looking for manipulation or hidden motives. She finds only sincerity and something that looks like desperation. Okay, she finally says. We'll move, but I'm paying you back. Somehow, eventually. If it makes you feel better to think that, fine. He's smiling now. Can I have my coffee now? All this negotiating is exhausting. She pours his coffee, and the morning settles into their new routine. Luca at the counter, working and watching. Sarah serving customers and stealing glances. The guards outside like statues. Jerry nervously hovering, but around 10 a.m. the door chimes. A woman walks in. She's beautiful, glossy dark hair, designer clothes, legs for days. She looks around the diner with barely concealed disdain, her gaze finally landing on Luca. So this is where you've been hiding. Luca's expression closes down. Vanessa, what are you doing here? Looking for you. You've been ignoring my calls. She slides onto the stool next to his. Too close, too familiar. We need to talk about the merger. There is no merger. I told you that last month. Your board disagrees. This alliance makes sense, Luca. Our families together would control half of Chicago. I'm not interested in alliances with the Moretti family. Or you're not interested in alliances with me? Her smile is sharp. Don't be childish. What we had was good. Could be good again if you'd stop being stubborn. Sarah's wiping down the counter, trying not to listen, trying not to care. But jealousy burns in her chest like acid. Vanessa finally notices her. Coffee, she says dismissively. Black, Sarah pours, keeping her expression neutral. Who's this? Vanessa asks Luca, as if Sarah isn't standing right there. My waitress. Your waitress, Vanessa laughs. Is that what we're calling them now? Vanessa. Luca's voice is dangerous. You should leave. Not until we talk about. We're not talking about anything. The answer is no. It's been no. It will continue to be no. I'm not merging families with you. I'm not marrying you. And I'm not interested in whatever game you're playing. Vanessa's perfect face contorts with anger. This is about her, isn't it? Your little waitress? God, Luca, you're smarter than this. She's using you. Get out! She's after your money, your power. Get out! The roar silences the entire diner. Even the guards straighten. Now, Vanessa, before I forget my manners. Vanessa stands, smoothing her dress. Fine, but you're making a mistake. You can't build a life with someone from her world. You think she'll understand you? Accept what you do? The first time she sees real violence, she'll run. She leaves in a cloud of expensive perfume and wounded pride. The diner slowly comes back to life. Conversations resume, dishes clatter. Luca runs a hand over his face, looking exhausted. I'm sorry you had to see that. Were you two? Briefly, years ago. It meant nothing. He reaches for Sarah's hand across the counter. She's ambitious and smart, and absolutely wrong for me. Has been trying to manufacture a marriage alliance since my father died. I keep saying no. She keeps not hearing it. She's beautiful. She's venomous. There's a difference. He squeezes her hand. You're shaking. I didn't like the way she talked to you. Or about me. I didn't like it either, but she's gone now, and she won't be back. His pale eyes are fierce. You're what I want, Sarah. Not power alliances or strategic marriages. You, just you. I'm nobody. You're everything. The words hang between them, too big, too soon. But Sarah doesn't take her hand away. I should get back to work, she finally says, and I should actually attend a meeting before my crew stages a mutiny. But he doesn't move. Tonight, let me show you the apartment, help you start packing. You're going to help me pack? I'm going to order people to help you pack while I supervise and probably get in the way. Close enough. She laughs despite everything. Okay, tonight. He leaves with one last lingering look, and Sarah spends the rest of her shift in a daze. Mary Ann corners her during a lull. Girl, you're in deep. I know. That woman, she's dangerous, rich and connected, and clearly not over him. I know that too. And you're still doing this? Still risking everything for a man you've known less than 2 weeks? Sarah thinks about it. Really thinks about it. About the safety and the apartment and the guards. But also about the way Luca looks at her. About his gentleness with his father's watch. About the man beneath the monster. Yeah, she says. I am. Then I hope you know what you're doing. I don't, but I'm doing it anyway. That evening, true to his word, Luca arrives with a moving crew. Professional movers who pack her entire sad little apartment in under 3 hours. Her mother, frail and confused, keeps asking questions that Sarah deflects. It's a better place, Mom. Safer. You'll like it. But how can we afford... I got a raise, and some extra work. Don't worry about it. Her mother's too tired to push, which is both a blessing and heartbreaking. The Lincoln Park apartment is everything the documents promised, and more. Hardwood floors and granite counters and windows that actually open. A view of the park. 2 bathrooms with water pressure that works. Heat that doesn't clank and bang all night. Sarah stands in the middle of the spacious living room and tries not to cry. Luca appears at her elbow. You hate it. I love it. That's the problem. How is that a problem? Because I could get used to this. To safety and comfort and not worrying about eviction notices. And then when you... She can't finish. When I... What? Leave? He turns her to face him. Sarah, I'm not going anywhere. I told you. You're mine now. That's not something I say lightly. You barely know me. I know you fix watches with hairpins. I know you work double shifts to pay your mother's medical bills. I know you're brave enough to stand up to me and kind enough to worry about my grandmother. I know that when you smile, the whole world gets brighter. What else do I need to know? Everything. My favorite color, my middle name, what I wanted to be when I grew up. All the normal things people learn before they start saying forever. Then tell me, we have time. Do we, in your world? He doesn't answer immediately, which is answer enough. No, he finally says. In my world, we don't have time. We have moments, and we have to make them count. Sarah looks at him, really looks at him, at the tattoos creeping up his neck, at the expensive watch on his wrist, at the guards visible through the window, at the life he's offering that's both everything she needs and everything she should fear. Green, she says. My favorite color is green. My middle name is Rose. When I grew up, I wanted to be a veterinarian until I realized I cry when animals are hurt. I like old movies and good coffee and thunderstorms. I've never left Illinois. I read romance novels and pretend I don't. I'm scared of heights and deep water and disappointing people I care about. Luca's listening like she's reciting scripture. What else? I'm falling for you. Way too fast, way too hard. And it terrifies me. Good. He pulls her close, wraps his arms around her. She fits against him like she was designed for this exact space. Because I fell the moment you smiled at me with a hairpin in your hand. Been falling ever since. Probably won't stop. They stand like that for a long time, in the apartment he bought her, with her mother settling into the master bedroom and guards outside keeping watch. It's insane and impossible and absolutely real. Stay tonight, Sarah whispers. Not for... Just stay. I don't want to be alone. I'm not going anywhere. They set up the guest room for him, though they both know it's a formality. When Sarah's mother is safely asleep, they end up on the couch together, Sarah tucked against Luca's side, his arms around her, both of them pretending to watch a movie neither is paying attention to. What happens now? Sarah asks. Tomorrow, next week. Where does this go? Honestly, I don't know. I've never done this before. The real relationship thing. I'm going to mess up, probably a lot. I'll be too controlling and too protective, and I won't always explain things well. And I'll be too stubborn and too independent, and I won't always trust you easily. So we'll figure it out together. He kisses the top of her head. But Sarah, I need you to understand something. My world, it's not going to get easier. The threats won't stop. There will be more Vanessas, more Tommy Grecos. There will be days when you see things that scare you, days when you wonder what you've gotten into. Are you trying to talk me out of this? I'm trying to be honest. You deserve that much. Sarah shifts to look up at him. Then I'll be honest too. I'm terrified. Every day. But I'm also happier than I've been in years. You make me feel safe and seen and valued. So yes, I'm scared, but I'm not leaving. He kisses her then, deep and claiming, and Sarah feels it in her bones. This is forever. This dangerous, impossible man is forever. The next weeks blur together in a new routine. Mornings at the diner with Luca at the counter. Afternoons with her mother, who's getting stronger in the safety of the new apartment. Evenings with Luca, learning his world piece by piece. He takes her to family dinners with Nonna Maria, who feeds her constantly and tells embarrassing stories about young Luca. He shows her his office, a sleek space in a downtown building that doesn't look anything like mob headquarters. He introduces her to his crew, men with hard eyes who treat her with careful respect because their boss has claimed her. She meets his world halfway, learning names and alliances, understanding the unspoken rules. She doesn't shy away when she sees violence, not physical, but the kind that comes with power. The threats and intimidation and cold calculation. But she also sees his gentleness. The way he visits elderly union members in the hospital. The way he funds a community center in his old neighborhood. The way he's ruthless with enemies but loyal to family. He's not good. But he's not just bad either. He's complex and human and trying. 2 months after the watch incident, Sarah's working a rare evening shift when a man walks in. Older, maybe 60, with silver hair and a face like carved granite. Every instinct Sarah has honed screams danger. He sits at the counter. Coffee, please, she pours with shaking hands. You're her, Sarah Mitchell. I am. Do you know who I am? No, sir. I'm Vincent Castellano. I own this block now. I own your old building. I own a lot of things. The name clicks. Castellano. The family that's been pushing against the Rossis. The reason she had to move. What do you want? She asks. To meet the woman who's captured Luca Rossi's attention so thoroughly. To see what's so special about you. I fix watches. I serve coffee. That's it. That's not it at all. He takes a sip, makes a face. Terrible coffee. But I didn't come for the coffee. I came to make you an offer. I'm not interested. You haven't heard it yet. He leans forward. Walk away from Luca. I'll pay you. $500,000. Enough to take care of your mother, start a new life anywhere you want. All you have to do is disappear. Sarah's heart is pounding. $500,000. Life-changing money. Safety and security forever. No. That was quick. I don't need to think about it. The answer is no. You're a fool. Luca Rossi will get you killed. If not by his enemies, then by his lifestyle. Girls like you don't last in our world. Good thing I'm not trying to last. I'm trying to live. Vincent's expression shifts to something like respect. He told me you were brave. I thought he was being sentimental. But you've got spine. I'll give you that. Why are you really here? Because I needed to know if you were leverage or loyalty. If he cared about you or just wanted you. There's a difference. He stands, drops $100 bill on the counter. Keep the change. And Sarah, you passed my test. But not everyone's tests are so gentle. Be careful. He leaves and Sarah immediately pulls out her phone. Luca answers on the first ring. What's wrong? Vincent Castellano was just here. Silence. Then, did he hurt you? No. He offered me money to leave you. Did you take it? Of course not. Luca, Stay there, I'm coming. He arrives in 15 minutes, moving through the diner like a storm front. His face is the coldest Sarah's ever seen it. What did he say exactly? She tells him everything. When she's finished, Luca's jaw is so tight she can hear his teeth grinding. He tested you, tried to see if you could be bought. That's what he said. And you passed. He pulls her into his arms, right there in the middle of the diner with everyone watching. Of course you passed. But Sarah, this is escalating. Castellano doesn't make social calls. He's making a move, and you're part of the calculation. What do? We show him that you're not leverage, that you're family, that touching you means war. He pulls back, his pale eyes intense. I need you to trust me. Can you do that? Yes. Then tomorrow you're coming with me to a meeting. The entire outfit will be there. Every family, every crew, all the major players. And I'm going to make it very clear where you stand. Luca, I don't think... Please, trust me. She does. God help her. She does. The next evening, Luca picks her up in the Mercedes, but instead of his usual suit, he's wearing something even more formal. Tailored to perfection, with the watch, his father's watch, gleaming on his wrist. You look beautiful, he says when Sarah emerges in the one good dress she owns. Simple, black, nothing fancy, but his expression says she might as well be wearing diamonds. Where are we going? The Regent Hotel. Every family in Chicago will be there. It's neutral ground, happens twice a year, keeps the peace. He takes her hand. I won't let anything happen to you. The hotel ballroom is surreal. Men in expensive suits with dangerous eyes. Women dripping in jewelry and boredom. Everyone talking in low voices, alliances and threats disguised as pleasantries. Luca keeps Sarah at his side, his hand on her lower back, possessive and protective. People stare, whisper. A few approach to introduce themselves. Nonna Maria is there, and she pulls Sarah into a crushing hug. My boy finally brings you to meet everyone. Good, good. Vincent Castellano watches from across the room, his expression unreadable. And Vanessa. Vanessa's there too, in a red dress that probably costs more than Sarah's car. Her eyes narrow when she sees Sarah. At exactly 8 p.m., the crowd quiets. An older man, someone important Sarah can tell, calls for attention. Thank you all for coming. As always, this gathering serves to maintain our understanding, to prevent unnecessary conflicts, to honor our agreements. He continues with formalities, but Sarah's not really listening. She's watching Luca. He's tense, waiting for something. Then the older man says, If anyone has business to discuss, speak now. Luca stands. I do. The room goes silent. Everyone turns to look. For those who haven't heard, my name is Luca Rossi. 4 years ago, I took over the Rossi family operations when my father died. Since then, I've honored every agreement, respected every boundary, and asked for nothing in return. His voice carries across the room. But I'm asking now. I'm asking for recognition. Of what? Vincent Castellano calls out. Of her. Luca pulls Sarah to her feet, keeps his arm around her. This is Sarah Mitchell. She's under my protection. More than that, she's mine, my partner, my future, and anyone who threatens her, uses her, or even thinks about using her as leverage against me will find out exactly how far I'm willing to go to protect what's mine. The silence is absolute. You're claiming her? The older man asks. Publicly? I am. You understand what that means? The responsibility? The expectations? I do. Luca turns to Sarah, and his expression softens. I should have asked you first, should have explained. But Sarah, I'm standing in front of every powerful family in Chicago and telling them that you're mine, that attacking you means war, that you're as important to me as my own life. Sarah's heart is in her throat. Luca, marry me. The room explodes in whispers. What? Sarah breathes. Marry me. Not because it's strategic or politically smart. Not because it makes sense. But because I love you. Because I've loved you since you fixed my father's watch with a hairpin and smiled like I was worth saving. Because I can't imagine my life without you. He pulls out a box, opens it. The ring inside is vintage, beautiful, clearly an heirloom. This was my grandmother's. She gave it to me tonight, said she'd been waiting for me to find someone worthy of it. Sarah Rose Mitchell, will you marry me? Time stops. Sarah's aware of everyone watching, waiting. She's aware of Nonna Maria's hopeful face, of Vincent Castellano's calculating expression, of Vanessa's rage, but mostly she's aware of Luca, of his pale blue eyes and his tattooed hands and the way he's looking at her like she holds his entire world in her answer. Yes, she whispers, then louder, yes. The ballroom erupts. Some people are applauding, others are shocked, still others are clearly calculating how this changes the power dynamics, but Sarah doesn't care about any of that. Because Luca's kissing her. Right there in front of everyone, claiming her thoroughly and completely. The ring slides onto her finger, a perfect fit like it was made for her. When they finally break apart, both breathless, Luca keeps her close. You're crazy, she murmurs. Completely. Is that a problem? No, I think I might be crazy too. Vincent Castellano approaches and Sarah tenses, but his expression isn't angry. If anything, he looks amused. Well played, Rosie. I didn't think you had it in you. I protect what's mine. I can see that. He looks at Sarah. Welcome to the family such as it is. You've got spine. You'll need it. Then quieter to Luca. But this doesn't change the territory disputes. Business is business. I wouldn't expect anything else. They shake hands, and Sarah realizes she's just witnessed some kind of truce. Fragile, temporary, but real. The rest of the evening passes in a blur. People congratulating them. Nonna Maria crying happy tears. Vanessa disappearing early in a cloud of fury. Through it all, Luca keeps Sarah close, his hand never leaving her, his eyes constantly checking that she's all right. They leave after midnight, exhausted and overwhelmed. In the car, Sarah looks at the ring on her finger. It catches the streetlights, throwing rainbow prisms across the leather seats. Your grandmother's ring? She says softly. She'd want you to have it. Said you're the first woman I've brought around who has real substance. He lifts her hand, kisses the ring. I'm sorry I didn't ask privately first. I knew if I did the public declaration, it would offer you protection. I know why you did it, and I'm not mad. She turns to face him. But Luca, are you sure about all of this? It's so fast, and I'm not from your world. I don't know how to be a mafia wife or partner or whatever the correct term is. There is no correct term. You'll be my wife. That's all that matters. He pulls the car over, needing to look at her properly. Sarah, I've never been more sure of anything in my life. You make me want to be better. To be more than just power and violence. With you, I remember what it's like to be human. I'm scared. So am I. Terrified, actually. Of messing this up. Of letting you down. Of my world touching you in ways I can't control. His hand cups her cheek. But I'm more scared of living without you. So yes, I'm sure. Are you? Sarah thinks about the last 2 months. About mornings at the diner and dinners with Nonna Maria. About learning to live with guards and understanding the weight of the world Luca carries. About falling in love with a dangerous man who's gentle with her and ruthless with everyone else. I'm sure, she says. They kiss in the car like teenagers, hungry and desperate and full of promise. When they finally make it back to the apartment, they find Nonna Maria has beaten them there. She's set up in the kitchen, already cooking. You think I let you spend your engagement night alone? No, we celebrate properly. She's pulling out ingredients, moving around the kitchen like she owns it. Go, sit, I feed you. Luca grins. There's no point arguing with her. So they sit at the kitchen table while Nonna Maria cooks and tells stories. About Luca as a child, stubborn and smart and already showing signs of the man he'd become. About his father, complicated and difficult, but devoted to family. About the Rossi legacy and what it means to carry that name. But you, she says to Sarah, pointing with a wooden spoon, you change things. You make him soft again, human again. Is good. He needs this. I'm not that special, Nonna. Yes, you are. He thinks so. I think so. That's enough. She sets down plates of pasta. Now eat, then sleep. Tomorrow, we plan wedding. Wedding? Already? Why wait? You love him. He loves you. Life is short. Make it count. Luca takes Sarah's hand across the table. She has a point. You want to get married soon? I want to get married tomorrow if I could. But I know you probably want something proper. So I'll be patient. A little. Sarah thinks about big weddings and long engagements, about all the traditional things she'd vaguely imagined if she ever got married. Then she thinks about Luca's world, where time is precious and nothing is guaranteed. 3 months, she says. Give me 3 months to plan something small. Just family and close friends. 3 months, he grins. I can do 3 months. Nonna Maria beams. Is settled then. I make the food. Maria Ann from the diner. She comes, yes? And your mother. She's well enough? She's getting stronger every day. Good. She walks you down the aisle. Is proper. They eat and talk and plan until Sarah's eyes are drooping. Luca finally carries her to bed. Her actual bed, not the guest room, and tucks her in like she's precious. Stay, she murmurs, half asleep. Always. He climbs in beside her, fully clothed, just holding her while she drifts off. And for the first time since her father died, Sarah feels completely, utterly safe. The next 3 months are chaos. Good chaos mostly. Wedding planning with Nonna Maria, who has opinions on everything. Integrating more fully into Luca's world, learning names and faces, and the subtle politics that govern his life. Adjusting to the constant presence of guards and the way people treat her differently now, with respect and fear and calculation. Her mother gets stronger, well enough to start asking difficult questions about Luca's real business. Sarah doesn't lie, but she doesn't tell the full truth either. Some things are better left unsaid. The diner continues. Luca still comes every morning at 8:15, though now he kisses her hello in front of everyone, and Jerry's stopped looking nervous. He's accepted that his diner is now under Rossi protection, which actually brings in more business. People feel safe there. Marianne becomes her maid of honor, despite initially thinking Sarah had lost her mind. But I guess if you're happy, I'm happy. Plus, the free protection from Chicago's most dangerous family isn't the worst fringe benefit. There are rough moments, too. A rival family tests Luca's boundaries, and Sarah sees him come home with blood on his shirt. Not his blood. He showers without speaking, and she holds him after, feeling the violence trembling under his skin. I'm sorry, he says into her hair. I'm sorry you have to see this part of me. I knew what I was signing up for. Knowing and living it are different. I'm still here. I'm still staying. And she is. Through the violence and the danger and the moments when she questions everything. Because the good outweighs the hard. The mornings at the diner. The evenings with Nonna Maria. The nights wrapped in Luca's arms, safe and loved. The wedding day arrives on a perfect October afternoon. They've rented a small venue, nothing flashy, just a garden space with good security. Sarah's mother walks her down the aisle in a wheelchair, stronger but not yet fully recovered. She's crying happy tears. Luca waits at the altar in a black suit, his father's watch gleaming on his wrist. His eyes never leave Sarah as she approaches. She's wearing a simple white dress, elegant, not extravagant, and carrying wildflowers that Nonna Maria insisted on. The ceremony is short. Traditional vows with a few modifications. When the officiant asks if anyone objects, there's a moment of genuine tension. This crowd could absolutely object violently. But the room stays silent. "I do," Luca says firmly when asked. "I do," Sarah echoes, her voice clear. The ring he slides onto her finger is a wedding band that matches the engagement ring. Simple, perfect. When the officiant pronounces them married, Luca kisses her like they're the only two people in the world. The crowd, a mix of family members, crew, and a few allies, erupts in applause. At the reception, Nonna Maria gives a toast that's half in Italian and makes Luca blush. Old Pete from the diner tells embarrassing stories about Sarah's worst waitressing moments. Mary Ann gives a speech about love being crazy but worth it. Then Luca stands, tapping his glass for attention. "I'm not good at speeches," he begins. "I'm better with action than words. But today, I'm going to try." He looks at Sarah, and his expression is so open, so vulnerable that her heart aches. 3 months ago, my father's watch stopped. It was the worst moment I'd had since he died, losing that last connection to him. Then a waitress with a hairpin and kind eyes fixed it in 30 seconds. Fixed me, really. Reminded me that there's more to life than power and control. He pauses, seems to gather himself. "Sarah, you walked into my world without fear. You saw who I really am, the violence and the ugliness and the parts I try to hide. And you stayed anyway. You make me want to be better, to be worthy of you. I know I'm not easy to love. I know my world is dangerous and complicated, but I promise you this. I will protect you with everything I have. I will love you with everything I am. And I will spend every day trying to make you as happy as you've made me." There's not a dry eye in the room. Even the hard men with their tattoos and their scars are wiping at their faces. Sarah stands, goes to him, takes his face in her hands. "You're already worthy," she says softly, just for him. "You always have been." They kiss, and the room erupts again. The party continues into the night. Dancing and food and the kind of celebration that only happens when people who live dangerous lives get a moment of pure joy. Sarah dances with Luca, with her mother, with Nonna Maria, with guards who've become familiar faces. At midnight, Luca pulls her away from the crowd. They slip out to the garden where fairy lights are strung between trees and the October air is crisp and perfect. "Mrs. Rossi," he says, testing out the name. "That's going to take some getting used to. You can keep Mitchell if you want, or hyphenate. I don't care about the name. I care that you're mine. I know, and I am, completely." She leans into him. "What happens now?" "Now we go on a honeymoon. 2 weeks in Italy. Nonna Maria insists on showing you where the family comes from. Then we come back, and we build a life. Together." "What kind of life?" "Whatever kind you want. You can keep working at the diner if it makes you happy. Or not. You can go back to school, start a business, anything. My money is your money. My world is your world. You choose." Sarah thinks about it. About who she was 3 months ago. Exhausted, broke, barely surviving. About who she is now. Loved, protected, partnered with a man who would burn the world down for her. "I want to learn watch repair properly," she says. "Really learn it. Honor my father's memory by becoming the craftsman he was. Then we'll make it happen. Whatever you need. And I want to help your family. Not the business side, but the people. The community center you fund. The families that need support. I want to do something meaningful. You already are. But yes, we'll expand it together." He kisses her forehead. "Anything else?" "This. I want more of this. Moments with you where we're just us. Not the boss and his wife. Just Luca and Sarah. I can do that. I want that too." They stand in the garden, wrapped in each other, as the party continues without them. Above, the stars are bright despite the city lights.